Sure, we're all here. And what up, kinfolk? This is your boy, William Talley in the house, aka Screwface Capone if you're familiar with my gaming channel. So, I just wanted to make this video because it's just some stuff I wanted to speak on. So like a few weeks ago, as you might have known, I made a video about the coronavirus and how people weren't taking it seriously, as well as other dumb shit that was going on because of the virus and people refusing to listen to the stay-at-home order that they're giving out this week. So, as you know, they extended it out to May 1st, but it's probably going to end up taking longer than that to fully recover from this virus and bounce back, because people are out there doing dumb shit and still not taking it seriously. Like you got people out here talking about, oh, it's not a real virus, it's 5G radio towers. You dumb motherfucker. Also, what's really bad is like religious folks that's spreading this around. Like I be going on social media and Facebook seeing posts like, oh, this is God's wrath for not doing what he wants to do, or this is a way to bring people closer to God, or whatever. Motherfucker, how much of an asshole do you have to be to fucking see people dying, see people using their jobs and trying to say like and telling them that it's God's punishment for some shit? And what's really worse is you got pastors and churches who are still holding Sunday Mass. So you've got dozens, potentially hundreds of people gathered together in one big space, and nobody knows. There's no way of knowing if you got it or if you don't got it. So everybody could be potentially spreading it around because they want apparently God's got their back or some dumb shit. In this age of social media, Twitch streaming, YouTube, and online video conferencing, there is no fucking excuse. There is no way you, as a religious institution, should be holding mass gatherings on Sunday or any day of the week. Matter of fact, you're not even an essential. You're not even a business, period, let alone an essential one. I mean, of course, I know, like, I think some governor down in Florida, like, ruled it, like, essential business or whatever, but no, that's not how it works. You don't have there are no medical experts on hand or medical staff on hand within your church that's ready to provide proper procedure. That's not how it fucking works. To me, if you're attending religious services or you're holding like religious mass, then I think that you should be forced to sign a waiver saying that because you believe in the power of God, supposedly, that you're not going to, that if you come down with any medical symptoms as a result of you gathering in public, then you're not going to seek any kind of treatment. And if you do like fall unconscious or some shit, then it should be automatic do not resuscitate order. Because if you're gonna put your life and other people's lives when you know what you're supposed to be doing and they're telling you what you're supposed to be doing, then you really shouldn't be taking resources away to people who are using common sense and trying to wait this one out and trying to end this thing as soon as possible. And first of all, let me mention, like, I don't have anything against organized religion. I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, Scientologist, Buddhist, Jewish, or whatever. I mean, for every Christian that's a dick or every Christian that's an asshole, then you got other people who whose religion is a driving force as far as what makes them better people. Like, I myself am agnostic, but I lean more towards atheism. But at the same time, like, if your belief, whatever it is, if that's what's pushing you to be a better person, then more power to you. Then I'm not talking about you. My beef is with people who use their religion to push hatred, ignorance, stupidity, and also trying to force their religious beliefs upon others. Like all them people saying that we need to bring back prayer towards schools, and all that other shit. And another thing, and now back to the big C. And another thing that's ticking me off about this is all these people doing this all this what's called panic buying. You've been to the stores and you've seen them clear up toilet paper and paper towels and hand sanitizer and shit. It's not really even the fact that people need this stuff. You got people who are hoarding this shit just so other people can't get it, or they can like try to resell it thinking they're hustling or some shit. That's the biggest fucking asshole move you can do right now. If you don't, fortunately, I was able to stock up on toilet paper like right before the big shutdown hit, and you know I was able to get get a huge roll. I was able to get a huge roll like a month ago, so I don't need to worry about like running out anytime soon. But like I'm sure you've seen the YouTube videos of like people walking out with carts full of like meat and food and shit, just taunting other people just so they can fuck with other people and stick it to the SJWs. That's just that's gonna come. That shit's gonna come back on you when like especially with the meat, like when that shit expires in a few months and then you can't eat it or sell it back because nobody wants to fuck with you. But the good news is like at the very least, like the factories that make like the paper towels and the toilet paper, like they're working overtime to produce more. So like maybe in a month or two, like you'll be seeing more and more on shelves, and then people are gonna end up looking stupid now that they done like hogged up all the toilet paper and all the paper towels for nothing. And again, back to the coronavirus. Like I said before, it's still a lot of people not taking this seriously. Like on Facebook, like I just saw like one post about people having a fuck Corona party where everybody's all gathered around, having a barbecue and shit. So it's like, I'm like I might have said this in the last video, I can't remember, but it's like you know when you're back in elementary school and shit, and the teacher's about to have like, I don't know, a big party or a field day and shit, but like you got that one dumbass kid in the back room, or that one or two idiots who think they're the class clowns. They won't stop talking, they won't stop yelling, talking over the teacher and whatnot. They keep trying to start stuff, and then the teacher decides to cancel the big party or whatever because all them people can't keep their mouths shut. They can't do what they're supposed to do to fall in line, so everybody can have fun later. That's kind of what this shit is. Like, it's like you got these dumbasses out here who don't take it seriously, who think they're being on some super woke bullshit, and thinking like that social distancing is just some kind of political, just some kind of new world order bullshit agenda, or it's or they're talking about, or they're trying to blame it on like 5G or whatever the big hoax is, or they're probably jacking off to Dr. Sebi or whatever the fuck, and they're just not doing what people need them to do in order to get this under control. Like, the longer it takes you to start social distancing, the sooner it's going to, and the longer we're going to have to do it for. So that's all there is to it. I mean, you can either start taking it, you can either start taking it seriously and listen to the experts out here, you know, like people with actual medical training, or you can listen to all these celebrities, all these other idiots on YouTube going on with their conspiracy theories and shit. I mean, it doesn't, and it really not helping matters that you actually got people like so-called economists talking about they're okay with people dying as long as we can get the economy back up, which is probably the dumbest and most fucking cruel shit I've ever heard. And this even includes the president, who's demanding that everything start back up by Easter, which you know is not gonna fucking happen because people have more fucking common sense than he does. I mean, let's paint it out like this: like, we open all the stores, we open all the malls, we end social distancing, everybody goes back to work, everybody goes back in public, and we have all these areas that are once again crowded and full of people, like malls, churches, buildings, and whatnot. We still don't have any real vaccine in place. We still don't have any plan at treatment. We still there aren't enough tests to go around and shit, and hospitals are already being full and overstaffed because of this thing. And then now we got people being back out in public, reinfected, spreading it around and reinfecting each other because again they don't know if they're carrying it. They don't know if they're not carrying it. And it's really easy to spread around. And you got these edgelords who don't give a shit. To them, it's just sticking it to the SJW. So yeah, once that shit happens, again, we're gonna have to shut down everything else because it's even more widespread this time, and it's even worse. I mean, think about it. Think about it this way. Like, so say there's a leak in your kitchen, like there's a burst, like somewhere there's a burst pipe or something. You don't know where it is. You don't know how to reach it. But instead of fixing the pipe, you just decide to like mop and clean up all the water that's on the floor and just go about business as usual. But then there's still that leaky pipe that's like, it might not be like, okay, let me take it back a little. So you got that leaky pipe, like there's like a small hole in it. It's like trickling right now because you got bad rusty pipes and whatnot. And there's a little puddle in the kitchen. So instead of going in and looking at that leaky pipe, you go in and just simply mop up the water or clean it up or dry it up or whatever. And it's back to business as usual. But that leaky pipe is still there. And once that, and you keep letting it sit there and stagnate as it is, it'll rip open. It'll just keep leaving puddle after puddle after puddle, and you're just cleaning it up and not doing shit to connect it, to fix it. Meanwhile, that hole was getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it ends up bursting, and then your whole kitchen is flooded when all you have to fucking do was go in there and fix the leaky fucking pipe. So again, we need people to start. We need people. If you want to get back, if people talking about like, oh, I want to have the summer's gonna be hot. I want to have a good summer or whatever, and this better be ended before my birthday. If you want it to fucking end, then you have to do your part. I mean, fuck these edgelords. Fuck all these internet YouTube experts who are just trying to sell you their snake oil bullshit cures. And basically, and you know what? Fuck Donald Trump, because you can see he's ignoring his medical experts. And like, even right now, dumb people are on Twitter are retweeting his hashtag Fire Fauci or whatever his name is, like the top medical expert, who's he's trying to do his part and trying to solve this and giving Americans the White House the necessary info they need, but they keep ignoring the guy because it's not jiving up to what they want. So again, please, I mean, again, the longer it takes you to start doing this, the longer we're going to have to start doing it for. And I really don't want to have to make a third fucking video where I talk about this. Alright, now that I'm done ranting about the coronavirus, this is actually, I'm going to go on to another totally unrelated subject. And this is something that I've been thinking about doing for like weeks or, well, months really. But usually when I do like a little video talking about my thoughts on something, then it's usually as a follow-up to an article I seen in the news recently. But this time, it's probably, I'm just doing it for the hell of it. But this is just because I just see it come up a lot. And it's going to come up again like shortly because people don't know. People throw around this phrase, cancel culture, but people don't exactly know what it is. First, I'm going to take a sip of water because you should always stay hydrated. 8 glasses a day, H2O. And this is another thing people are panic buying, but thankfully it's not as bad as with the toilet paper and the paper towels. It's pretty easy to find bottled water if you're looking for it. Anyway, I want to speak on what's commonly referred to as cancel culture. Because oftentimes I've seen this word being thrown around in response to things, people are like exaggerating it to make it look like it's bad. It's even worse than what it's supposed to be. First off, you're talking about like the internet dogpiling and ganging up on people. That's not what cancel culture is. I mean, that's been that old gang piling and that scar letter tar and feather stuff. It's been going on for centuries. I mean, somebody's been perceived as doing something fucked up, and then people just pile up on them and harass them and bully them. That's terrible. Now, that's bad, of course. And like a recent example of that would be like the whole Pro Jared scandal from last year. And now for those of you who don't know what that is, like basically he was accused, he had cheated on his wife, then he was being accused of soliciting pics from minors, but later on it turned out that he wasn't doing it. But we're gonna get back to that in a minute. But that's basically the gist of it. But we're gonna get back to that now. As far as that, the internet dogpiling, that's been around for years. Only difference between now and then is that like everything's now digital. So if that would have happened like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 decades ago, then hardly anybody outside of town would have known about it or would have cared. Well, I take it. Well, like depending on like how much audience he had back then, maybe not a whole lot of people would have cared about it. You know, like the online bullying, harassment. That's terrible, but that's not what cancel culture is. Anyway, what it is like it's a term that was invented by Black Twitter. Basically, it's a way of telling people like you did something fucked up in the media. You as an entertainer or whatever, or a content creator or a musician or an actor, did something fucked up, and we're not going to support you anymore over it. So. One of the biggest well-known examples is R. Kelly, and you know everybody knows about his scandal. So basically, it's saying you fucked up. I'm not gonna support you anymore. And like any good thing that black people create, white people tend to misappropriate it and flip around some shit, and just flip around a little bit. So now like. Anytime somebody gets called out for whatever, they get accused. Suddenly, it's called cancel culture, and suddenly you're the bad guy in your quote unquote virtue signaling for bringing it up. So first let's roll back a little. Like everybody's saying that people are offended by the smallest thing, and people are easily offended in snowflakes and whatnot. Which I kind of find ironic because some, like you'll have edgelords or the alt-right or just whoever, like people who are right-wing minded or whatever, they'll just accuse you of being a snowflake or being easily offended by shit when you call out somebody for being racist or sexist or homophobic or transphobic. And while yeah, there are some times when people do take it too far and just like perceive every little thing as offensive, that's not what it is. Things were always offensive. The difference between like now and like say 30 or 50 years ago, or maybe or even like 5 or 10 years ago, people have had more agency to speak out against that stuff. And like it's kind of funny when you hear like older heads talk about like oh, this younger generation gets offended by everything. But the funny part was that when they were the ones who slapped warning labels on gangster rap records, and also they were the ones who flipped out trying to ban like Mortal Kombat, Dungeons and Dragons, Doom, like that's the whole reason why they came up with the ESRB rating system. And let's not forget the generation before them was the generation that flipped out when they saw a colored person use a drinking fountain. Like if you go back in history and read about Ruby Bridges, people were so pissed off about her going to people were so triggered about her going to their school that she had to have like a military escort just to get in there. So that's why I find it hilarious when you hear like older heads talk about younger heads being offended by shit. But anyway, back to cancel culture. So basically what it is just a way of communicating that you're not going to support. This person did something you don't agree with, so you're not going to support them anymore. And like one of the examples that people tend to bring up with that is Dave Chappelle. He had a comedy where apparently he said something about trans folks, and that caused a little bit of a stir for a little bit. I'm not sure what he said. I like David Chappelle, so I still support him, but and I do support him, but here's the thing: if just because you as an entertainer or you as a content creator at one time made something I like, or at one time I might have supported you, or I was a fan of yours, that doesn't mean I have to be a fan of yours. That does not obligate me to support you in everything you do. And if you do something that goes against my views and my beliefs, then I have every right to withdraw that support, either temporarily or permanently, depending on how I feel about you. Now back to the R. Kelly scandal. Like the whole molestation and grooming girls and all that other shit. This is something that people knew, and this is something that people knew about for years. I mean, we at least since even before that tape came out in 2002. Like back in the days with Aaliyah, she was only 15 years old when he was working with her. So yeah, and that's another aspect of what cancel culture is. With the bill, basically, you did something fucked up in the past, and now the bill's coming due. Like whatever you do in it's crazy. Like whatever you do in the darkness has a funny way of coming back to you, and that's what happened. Also, you take a look at what happened to Bill Cosby. Now I'm not gonna say now people are speculating like if anybody lied or whatever, but I sincerely doubt like 30 or 40 women got together just that one time and said that we're gonna accuse him of rape and bring him down, especially at a period of time when like he wasn't even in the public eye. Nobody really cared about him until the allegations came out. The only thing is, why did it take for Hannibal Buress to put him on blast like that before those allegations were to come out? So that's my thing. I mean, right? So again, and now there are some cases of it being used against YouTube content creators. Now we go back to the Pro Jared situation. A few months after the whole thing went down, then he came out with a video where he was able to prove that, where he was able to clear his name and where he had receipts. That's part of the reason why I never spoke on it myself. Number one, I'm not a drama. I don't do YouTube drama. I'm not a drama channel. I do gaming, nerd stuff, technology, and this channel right here is just about random shit about what I'm thinking, like the coronavirus, Pastor Troy, shit like that, so-called gay agenda, and fuck that one guy in his sob story. But I think the only real thing that he did wrong was like a lot of people were just coming at him, and he never got a chance to speak on his side of the story. But if he did anything wrong, it's that like he didn't come out with his side sooner. But it looks like he might not get. Now I'm not familiar with his channel, but he might not get the views that he had back in the days. But it's looking like that his reputation is going to hopefully going to be on the rebound for that, and that's a good thing for him. Now also people talk about like the Logan Paul and PewDiePie controversies, like with Logan Paul with the whole Suicide Forest thing. Again, first of all, Logan Paul is back to being one of the most talked about and one of the biggest celebrities on YouTube. So, first of all, what are you talking about? And secondly, you knew how he should have known better how fucked up it was to film that whole Suicide Forest sketch. I mean, if you we're old. See, here's the thing: if you're old enough to know not to do dumb shit, if you're old enough to know something's wrong and you do it anyway, that's not a mistake, that's a decision, and that's what and that's his problem. But again, people are weaving around this cancel culture, but like PewDiePie and Logan Paul are both two of the are still two of the biggest streamers on the YouTube platform. And again, Dave, and even after all that hubbub about what he said in that Netflix special, David Chappelle is still one of the highest paid and most prolific and one of the biggest comedians in comedy. And same thing with the whole Kevin. And also another example is James Gunn, some tweets that came out from 10 years ago. Now here's one that I think. Now this right here is probably one thing that I do agree with when people come up, when you're digging up tweets from 10 years ago and shit and try to prove they're a bad person. But I obviously somebody's not the same person that they were 10 years ago. But at the same time, just because it was 10 years in the past, if you haven't made an effort to change, since then it really doesn't matter if it was 10 years ago, 2 years ago, or 1 year ago, or 10 minutes ago. But as far as James Gunn, he admitted to what he did. He knew what he did he admitted what he did was wrong, and he owned up to what he did. He had gotten fired from Disney, but shortly after that, Warner Bros. Picked him up, and he just did Suicide Squad. And a few months later, Marvel hired him back, and he's going to do Guardians 3 pretty soon. So again, when you talk about cancel culture, what are you telling me about? So really, so I forgot one more example, the whole Elizabeth Lerner thing. Let me look up her name real quick. Elizabeth Lerner, I think it is. The whole Central Park 5 prosecutor. She had her role in the prosecution of those 5 young men came to light because of that movie, When They See Us, that's on Netflix. So apparently she had lost a award or something, or a book deal. And real quick, let me look up exactly what it was. She lost, and let me look up exactly what it was. She lost real quick. Let me see a second. Okay, here we go. Because I forget exactly what it was. It was Linda Fairstein. It was Linda Fairstein too. It was actually Linda Fairstein. So that's what I actually want to speak on. But she was one of the prosecutors in the Central Park 5 case, where it was with the 5 young men who were accused of rape, but ended up being cleared, of course. Let's see. So she had, but it's like the Mystery Writers of America withdrew her Grandmaster Award for her literary achievement. So I don't want to sort of derail the video too much, but what it is that I've heard people call that cancel culture, but at the same time, since the Central Park 5 case, she's gone on a successful career in both the judicial system as well as a mystery writer. And this was before it came out about her. It came out about her role in the case, and yeah, there were. But while she was becoming a successful writer and a successful Jewish person in the judicial system, and while she was having a successful judicial career as well as a writing career, these 5 young men were in jail for several years, and they've had to deal with the physical and psychological damage that was dealt onto them. And So should she have been? So the question is, should she have been allowed to have been a success, to have these successes in her career, even after what, considering what happened to these young men, while they had to suffer because of what she did. And yes, there were others who had their own role in the See, I'm starting to get a bit foggy. I need another sip of water. That's what I need. So yes, there were others who had a role in what happened to these young men, including Elizabeth Letter, or however you pronounce her name, who I mentioned earlier. But that does not absolve her of her role in the situation, of her role in what happened to it. And even today, she still denies that she did anything wrong. So again, this isn't necessarily cancel culture. Again, this is the bill coming. This is the bill coming due. You pushed out some shit into the universe, and it's rolling back down on you. So yeah. And actually, there might have been at least one legitimate case of cancel culture, but I can't quite think of his name right now. Oh well, that all wraps it up for my video. So in short, cancel culture is all cancel culture is simply I don't have to support you if I don't want to. Now, of course, if somebody does want to support somebody, decide on what they did, then that's their choice too. So, if it's like these celebrities, these celebrities, I'm not gonna hold anything against you if you choose to support somebody who does something bad or whatever. But that's your right to do so, whether you choose to support them or whether you don't. So just remember, if I choose not to support somebody, like be it a content creator or a celebrity or a politician or whatnot, it's really no sweat on my back. I mean, they're not living my life. They're not paying my bill. They don't pay my bills for me. I don't owe anything to them. In fact, as one of their one-time Informer supporters, if anything, they owe me in part for their success. So that's all I really have to say. Yeah, so let me know what you think in the comments, and hit subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to know when I do more videos like this. Also, check out my gaming channel at Screwface Capone if you want to see, if you're into video games and technology and replays and stuff, because I'm working on some new stuff for it right now that you're gonna love. So again, you have a safe Sunday, have a great week, and remember, practice social distancing, stay safe, and cancel culture isn't real. Peace.